Good morning, everybody. Today is a pretty exciting day. We are on our way to a brand new dairy farm. We're going to be touring it. It's got a 40-bay rotary parlor, so that's going to be pretty cool. It's one of those circle parlors, and I believe this farm in the spring of 2020 was just a field. So when I say it's a new barn, it is completely brand new. And yeah, I'm super stoked. I hope you guys are excited to see it as well. I was thinking maybe we should do some more of these farm tours. I don't know. Comment down below if you guys want to see that kind of thing. There's 10,000 dairy farms in Canada, and not a single one is the same. So it'd be pretty cool to see the diversity between the dairy farms across Canada. So yeah, if you're a viewer of the channel and you want to see that, comment down below. And if you're a dairy farmer watching and you'd be willing to show your farm off for a video, definitely shoot me an email in the description down below. It's there. And just tell me a little bit about your farm, where it's at. I was thinking maybe do a couple in Saskatchewan here, and then we'll see if we, I don't know, maybe Alberta or Manitoba, the province is over. Line up a couple tours there in a day and make some videos. If you guys are interested in seeing that, or if you're a farmer and you'd be willing to do that, I think it'd be cool to see all the different dairy farms or some diversity, because I kind of show dairy farming in Canada, but like I said, there's not a single dairy farm that's the same, and that's why I'm pretty excited to show you guys today's dairy farm. Yeah, we're heading there right now, and I'll see you guys once we get there. Well, we're here, and this is Patrick Hilkema. He's going to be touring us around today.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I hope you guys are stoked. It's a pretty nice looking barn, man.
Thanks. Hope you guys are impressed.
So why don't you give us a quick little summary of this farm and what you got here?
Well, we've been in Saskatchewan for 7 years now, and it was about time to build something new. We really have been trying to get our cows in a more comfortable facility, something that they could maximize their potential in. So we spent a lot of years designing it, a lot of years touring different facilities. I was at your place numerous times to get some new ideas, and this is what we came up with. So we got a 700 cow barn with a 50 stall Bowmatic rotary.
Wow, 50, I thought it was a 40.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All the guys who said 40 said get a 50, so we listen to people smarter than us, and that's what we came up with.
Right on.
Yeah, and then we went with sand bedding and just tried to make everything as simple as possible, and cow friendly, big alleys, tunnel ventilated barn, so in the summer nobody's getting too warm. Yeah, there's not too much to show off because we like to try to keep stuff simple. But
well, that's good. Well, it sounds like you've given this tour before, so let's get started.
Absolutely. Well, come on in. Since we are still finishing up construction, not everything is quite perfect yet. Don't look at the stairs with no railing. OSHA might have a word. So this is the milking parlor, obviously. Our employees here are just getting ready to start milking.
Sweet. It's a big room for a parlor, man.
Yeah, well, no one ever built something and said, I wish I built it smaller, so...
I guess that's right. So this is your rotary, it's a Bowmatic?
Yeah, it's a Bowmatic, everything's stainless steel, or as much as possible is stainless steel, so we're hoping it can last us 25, 30 years. At least that's what we told the bank. The one thing that we did differently than maybe some of the rotaries in the past is my dad has always told me that cows should be eating grain when they're being milked, so we put a grain feeder on this rotary. So every cow gets half a pound of grain while they're being milked, and it's just helps them stay calm, and everyone drops their milk a little bit better, and they really want to be here. So and we're milking cows. Nobody ever has to chase cows at all. They pretty well enter the holding area freely. They all come on the rotary really good. There's almost never an empty stall because they all just want to be here. So that was a pretty neat addition.
I guess that really helps like get cows onto the rotary, have some tasty, good smelling grain on there.
Absolutely, yeah. They enjoy their 10-minute little turn on here on the merry-go-round.
That's awesome. And do you guys have dipping claws or?
No, we actually are a little bit old-fashioned that way. We still have the guy dipping, and the main reason for that isn't because dipping claws doesn't work. It's just on the rotary, because that's the last time the cows get looked at. I wanted them checked to make sure that they're milked out, that they're healthy, and when they leave.
Right on.
Whereas in a parlor like yours, then the guy who's hanging can do that job as well.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Looks pretty awesome. Pretty clean still. I don't know if that's because it's new or because you do a good job, but it's pretty clean.
We try.
Awesome.
Check out the tank room and everything else.
Sure. So how big are these tanks?
So we got two 8,000 gallon tanks here. So the goal when we're fully running, we're milking 600 cows like I said right now, and when it's next year we should be milking 7, and at that point we'll be shipping enough milk out of this farm to give Saskatoon a glass of milk every other day.
Right on. So yeah, we have one of these and you guys got 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it'll be even sweeter when we have the cows to fill them up.
So this is just outside of the bulk tank room. I guess those are your condenser units for keeping the milk cool.
Yeah, so yeah, we went with 4 of those because the faster the milk gets cooled, the better it is for the quality of the milk. So that was important to us. So this room, again, a little bit messy yet. Everyone knows electricians don't like cleaning up, and they're still got a few things to do in here. They've done a great job, but one thing that we tried to do on our farm is have 2 of everything. So there's 2 vacuum pumps that provide vacuum for the Rotary Parlour, 2 air compressors, and 2 boiler units. And the big reason we did that is on a dairy farm, you have to run every single day at the same time. That's super important for the cows, makes everyone's life easier if you can do that. So we made sure 2 of everything, less breakdowns, easier to run.
Okay. So are you usually using just 1 milk pump or 2?
They rotate in use every milking, so they're just programmed in to flip over to the new one every time they fire up.
Sweet. So if one breaks, you're still milking cows.
Absolutely.
So
this is where all the parts of the rotary are, and the reason they build them like this is then they're completely out of the elements, because obviously we have to wash our parlor down 3 times a day, and then we scrub it about once or twice a week. So by keeping all the electronics in here and all the expensive parts, they stay really dry and keep working for a really long time.
So I guess that's like why we built the basement underneath our parlor, to keep all the milk meters and all the electronics clean and dry. They'll just last a lot longer like that.
Yep, exactly. It's just an impossible thing to do with a rotary, so this is what they came up with to make it just as good as your basement parlor on a rotary.
Right on. I just noticed it just started spinning. I was like, what's going on?
Get a little dizzy in here sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So is this the milk meter that measures the volume, or?
Yeah, that's an infrared milk meter. It can also measure the somatic cell temperature and bacteria count in your milk. And one day they're hoping to get it to measure the progesterone in the milk as well, to tell when a cow is ovulating or in heat and when they're pregnant. But that's not done yet. Bowmatic's just got high hopes for it.
Okay. It's pretty fancy.
This is the holding area. It's made to hold 350 cows, and the cows should be coming in any minute, and then we'll be able to see what I was talking about, that nobody has to chase the cows here. They just come into the rotary, they want to go right to the front and get on that rotary as fast as they can.
Sweet. So how long does it take for the rotary to spin one full time?
It takes 10 minutes for the rotary to go around.
Okay, and how long does milking take?
Right now it's about 2.5 hours.
Alright, sweet. So this is the Freestall Barn.
Yeah, each side is a 350 cow group, and the barn's about 770 feet long. You can see all the girls here, they're all waiting for their lunch. The mixer wagon's just about ready to go through as soon as we got that first group in. Then we'll open up the gates, and one load can feed all 350 cows.
Sweet.
Those orange tags there are a system from Cow Manager, and what that does is it actually measures how much minutes they're eating and ruminating during the day, and then it also tracks their activity and their lying time. So right away they have algorithms that can tell us if any cow's sick or coming in heat, or if really anything's wrong. If they're lame, it'll pop up within 3 hours, and we get an alert on our phone and an alert on our computer, so that way we can kind of keep an eye on every single cow without having to be here 24 hours a day.
That's a pretty cool management tool. Obviously, taking care of this many ladies, it's a big job.
Yeah, it definitely has its challenges.
That's cool. So I guess we're in the middle of this Freestall Barn now, and this is where all the manure gets pushed into a slot here.
Yeah, we tractor scrape 3 times a day, and then when it's in that channel, then it just runs down into our sand barn. So it's a really simple manure system.
So there's little doors that open up there when they're scraping, and when the cows are in the group, they'll close those up. So at the back of the barn,
yeah, the tunnel vent's running at about 3/4 speed right now, just because it's not actually that warm out here in Saskatchewan right now. But it still is more than enough to keep the barn really fresh. All the air in the barn should be exchanged right now in about 2 minutes, so it's still a pretty decent speed in here. So this is our sand barn. I'm sorry there's no way to really make it look that pretty in here, because it is literally where we handle the manure. The idea is, because there's manure, or there's sand in the manure, and we don't want that to end up in our manure pit, because we had to pay money to get it in here in the first place. And anytime you can recycle something, that's better, right? So after it gets flushed through that channel that we looked at earlier and into a pit in this building, then it gets pumped over this lane. And the lane's 260 feet long with just a 0.25% slope on it. So then the idea is that all the sand settles out over the 260 feet, and at the end of the lane we're left with just manure, or at least 98% of the sand is settled out.
Okay. So that's a pretty big difference between our dairy farm, because we get our sand for free. I guess you probably don't have a pit out here, or?
No, our land's mostly clay. There's not a lot of sand close by.
So since we get it for free, we don't care. We just want to deal with it as cheaply as possible, whereas these guys, they want to get that sand back, so they'll grab it again using this sand lane here, and they can reuse it. Pretty cool.
And then on the other side of the wall here is where we dry the sand down, so you can kind of see the stages. At first it looks fairly dirty, it's fairly wet, but as you go along, now this sand would be about a month old here, and then you can actually, we kind of had to cheat a bit at the start because we weren't running at full capacity, so we had to bring some new sand in. But the idea is eventually there'll be 3 months of sand built up in this room, just drying, getting ready for reuse. And on the edge there, you can see the sand that we are putting in is clean and dry before it goes back in the barn again.
Bunch of pumps.
Yeah, so this is all from Dairy Lane's system. They manufacture it all out in Ontario there, where they have a lot more experience dealing with sand than some people around here, since it's generally a newer idea in Saskatchewan. Each pump is a 50 horse pump, and they're originally made for mining, so they claim that they're going to last forever. Only really time can tell there, we will see. Sand pretty well wears anything down that it touches over time. The idea with the 3 pumps is just overkill, exactly like I was saying before. You don't want to have breakdowns on a dairy farm. It makes a lot of issues, especially when you're dealing with manure. So this way we always have a backup. So this is our lagoon. Pretty much it's just built with a really heavy clay liner so that no manure can get away from it. And then there's a few test holes in every corner and every side just to ensure that that's working right. This lagoon holds 15 million gallons. So for us right now, that's almost 2 years manure storage. But because they're hard things to expand, we wanted to build one big enough right away for whatever might happen in the future. And we always wanted to make sure we could apply manure in the fall, just because that's a little bit better for your fields with soil compaction. And we do have heavy clay soil out here, so that's something that's a little more important for us than it might be to some people. And anytime you can spread manure when you want, it just makes your life easier. And usually you get a better application because you're not spreading when the conditions aren't perfect.
Right on. It's a massive pit.
Make a big swimming pool.
Yeah. Well, that was a pretty sweet tour. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, and I guess maybe bigger farms will get a bad rep, maybe just because they're milking more cows, but we can see pretty clearly here that the cows in this facility anyway are taken really good care of, and you guys have really focused on cow comfort.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's just something I want to show a bigger farm maybe, and let you guys have a look for yourself. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in.